the recording. Good morning. Hi, Ten George Realty. I hope everybody had a good weekend. The weekend was really hot, you know. I went to my son's open house in Monterey Park. The interior temperature was 85 degrees. Mm-hmm. And the AC was not working. Can you believe that? Of all things, oh man, it was we kind of hysterical. But luckily, it was an easy fix, so we got it working, and so it turned out okay. But the weather is really hot, so when you are doing open house or when you are door knocking, be careful with the hot temperature. Make sure you have enough water. Make sure that you are cool enough. You know, don't get into any accidents or emergencies. Okay. Now, welcome to the meeting, and that shows that you really care. I really thankful for that. But if you look around, there's a lot of exciting news in the real estate nowadays. You know, as you know that the Senate Bill 79 is being proposed, and then that they will substantially increase the zone density around the area where you have a public transit like the metro link and bus stops and if you are doing apartment development, they have a very good deal for you. And you can have a lot of big, very dense zoning for you to build your apartments or affordable living, especially for affordable living, because that is what they really want to promote. And affordable housing, like in San Francisco, there was 425 units apartments, and it becomes a affordable living project, and it is now all of a sudden it's marketable, so that's good. And also the strip mall will be converted to homes in San Mateo. The price housing price is coming down a little bit, and right now it's about $884,050, down 1.7% from last month. So that's a good sign. That means that the houses are cooling down a little bit, and that will encourage some buyers to come in and buy. The only reason why the buyers still hesitating is the interest rate. But the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell hinted that in February they will have interest reduction of at least 25% percentage point, or even 50 percentage points. So that is a good news, and keep our fingers crossed. And if he will keep to his promise, we're looking to have at least 50 percentage points reduction in interest in the mortgage interest. So let's be optimistic. And there's only 3 more months actually effective for the year, because at the end of the year, November and December is very slow. So there's only 3 more months, and this is the time that you really have to wrap up your engines and get some production on your books. So if you need any help or anything, come to Michelle or me, and I will help you with marketing or whatever you need. Okay. So now with that, I would like to turn to the affiliates. As you know that Ann Cho, which is with the Top Escrow, will be our affiliates spotlight for today. But before that, let's introduce other affiliates. Let's begin with Sandy Franco. Sandy, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Hi, 10 George Realty. Everyone, happy Monday to everyone. Sorry, it's super hot where you are. It is super cold where I am. Just want to remind you guys that if you have a listing, we all know listings are staying on the market longer. So if you have a listing and you have listing coverage and the air conditioner doesn't work, gosh, Peter, that's covered. So just saying, simple phone call to home warranty for your son's listing, $95, get that fixed. Listing coverage offers up to $1,000 or so for air conditioning and heat, but there's no limit on any of the other items like dishwashers, water heaters. It's the basic items that are covered. It's $1.74 a day. from when you started until escrow closes, and you don't have to start it the day you take the listing. But when you do start it, then your sellers have peace of mind going forward. If they stay on the market longer, that the things that are going to pop up, the longer you're on the market, the longer you have to have something break, will be covered by their home warranty. And just remember, always remember First American, the financial strength that we bring behind us, and that our hashtag this year, other than soar with the Eagles, is who you work with matters. So keep that in mind. 21 years with First American, helping your clients have a smooth home warranty transaction. Have a great week.
Thank you, Sandy. Hey, Sandy, Harrison told me that you don't do a home warranty for mixed use project. Why is that?
Well, so if they share any of the same systems, that's a problem for us. So that's where we run into issues. If you have a residence over a retail store and they share any systems, any appliance, or any part of a plumbing, then that's not a residential property. That becomes mixed use commercial, and we can't do that. So if they have completely separate systems and they don't cross, then yes, we can.
How can you tell that they share the plumbing and the electrical?
Yeah, then we're out.
No, but how can you tell?
Well, meters and things like that. And you can always tell with plumbing. The plumbers can tell if where when they get in there. You don't want to take coverage and then find out you shouldn't have taken coverage. I had someone, case in point, that wanted to do one for what was a barber shop, but they had converted the back of the barber shop to their residence. Not going to fly. But some of them will. It just depends. You have to actually do some digging and make sure they don't have any shared systems or appliances. And it's basically the systems. But that's why we don't.
I see. Okay, understand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Maria Howard. Maria, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Everything Sandy said, I echo her words. So right now, basically, we're seeing an uptick in the market. I'm seeing a little bit more movement. The interest rates have declined, which is kind of exciting. And we had our team call this morning with our management team, and pretty much we see the needle moving. We hope it continues a trajectory as we finish out Q3 and enter into Q4. Just remember, we have door hangers and we have free marketing tools. These tools that we have are there to augment what you're already doing through the Coldwell Banker, I'm not Coldwell Banker, High 10, whatever portal you're using for your CRMs. But we have those things that are free and available to you. Reach out to me. Let me know if you want to do that. And the tip of the day for hydration is you're supposed to drink 50% of your body weight. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you need 50 ounces of water. Just remember, that is a really good tip to stay hydrated. And always add a little bit of hydration powder packets to your water. That will help you retain because they have magnesium and potassium, and your body absorbs that really quickly. So stay safe out there. Remember, I'm a phone call, text away. Have an amazing day.
Good, very good. Thank you for the advice, Maria. Thank you very much. All right, next we have Brendan Saransky from First American.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I am the second of the Eagles to land. And we're here to protect your nest, as we've been saying. So, the big thing that I've been talking to a lot of people about this week is obviously marketing is your way to really show and highlight that you are the area expert. And when it comes to anything that I can help out with, you shouldn't have to have a conversation about the NHD. Use me as that resource. I can always jump on a call with you and your client, especially when they need help filling out the fire hardening defensible space. We can walk through it with them. I've done this with multiple agents in the last couple of days where we literally, both of us are on the call with the client. I explain exactly what's going on. And really, this is just to help you look even better and just know that you have a whole team to support you and that are there to really help you look like the rock stars. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to support you because I can't get business unless you get a listing or you're on the buyer side and you can request the NHD. So use me to build your business, to help you to get more business. That's why I'm here. There's so many ways for you to provide great value, whether that's checklists to prepare them for the next natural disaster, or as you guys have seen, There's lots of fires, so it's very relevant right now. If you have seen in Northern California and in Oregon, there's a lot of fires going on right now. And of course, this is the time of the season. So while it's relevant in the news, reach out to your clients, say, hey, just was thinking about you. I have some great ideas for ways to prepare for the next fire or just in case. And then the other thing that I mentioned many times, fire extinguishers, first aid kits, all of those things have a shelf life. Those are things to pair with those closing gifts so that they see your marketing over and over and over again. That's ways that it's going to be there and it's going to be in their home for 5 to 10 years, and you will be top of mind all the time. So I'll put my info in the chat. Call me, email me, text me anytime.
Thank you, Brandon. You know, it always puzzles me at why, you know, every year we are confronted with the wildfires, and every year we're complaining about it. Every year do we, you know, but never the problem was never resolved, not even mitigated. You know, what's going on? You know, was it impossible to confine it or impossible to prevent it or mitigate it?
That is the toughest question out there.
Oh man, anyway, nothing I can say, you know. Anyway, all right, let's Mark, how you doing, Mark? Nice to see you.
Good morning. Nice to see you guys talk about fires. You know, there are ways to mitigate it. It's just that we don't have politicians that are willing to do it. Some cities have gone to goats, and that is such an incredible thing to do. They eat up everything because brush is what causes fire. And I don't know why we don't have a program, because it's not very expensive. But anyways, I'm here to assist you. Insurance is still hard to get, but I'm obtaining it. Don't let insurability cost you a deal in this market. Start the process early. Prepare your buyers that the cost is going to be much higher than they anticipate. If they're accustomed to paying X number of dollars on their current home, they're probably going to be paying double on the home they're buying. So if you just set the expectation, you won't lose the deal. Again, we know that cars says about 20% are falling out of escrow due to insurability. And so we don't want that number to go high, and make sure you're batting 100% where we can always close the deal. So I always get a question on this, you know, can we get insurance? And the answer to your reply to your clients are always going to be, yes, you can get it, because we can always do fair plan as a last resort. Anyways, I'm here to assist you. I have my contact information. Reach out to me and I'll help you close your deals.
Mark, you said 20% fell out of escrow because of insurance?
That's correct. Insurability, right. Whether
it's a few months
inability to get insurance, or they're backing out because it's too high.
God, that's ridiculous. Lots of 3 months ago, it was like only 17%. Now it's 20%.
It was around 14 to, yeah.
Gosh, yeah. That's horrible.
And again, that's in Southern Cal, so we're more prone to fire, you know.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, thank you. All right, Michelle, do we have any affiliates
Yes.
in the room?
Yes, we do.
Go ahead and introduce them first, please.
Okay. Come on up. There you go, Alba.
Hey, Alba, how are
Hello,
you?
Peter. Good
Nice
morning.
to
Good
see
morning,
you.
Peter. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, everybody. I'm Alba from Moy Escrow, here to serve you. I'm wishing you a great week and a very productive and a healthy week, okay? Thank you.
So every time I see you, we have money from you, right? Do we have money from you today?
Pretty soon.
Okay. Okay, any more in the training room, Michelle?
No, that would be it.
Okay. All right, then come to any more affiliate that came in late that want to speak?
Yolanda.
Yolanda's coming in.
Yolanda.
Yeah.
Where's Yolanda?
Right here.
Here, Peter.
Oh, okay, Yolanda. Okay.
Hi, Dan.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good.
Well, you know what the good news is? It's busy. It's busy. I've been getting calls over the weekend from my realtors, busy open houses and busy Mondays. So I'm excited. So just FYI, contact all your family, friends, your sphere of influence, past customers. It's prospect. We are getting busy, so I'm so excited. If you need any help with their farming, just give me a call and let me know. Yolanda Martinez Arenas, WFG National Title Company. Have an awesome
Yeah.
day. Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanda. Yes, we are all getting busier too. We have more activity in the office as well. So yeah, that's good. Good time to market and good time to farm. Good time to get your clients. Okay, all right. Let's. Then it's time for Ann Cho from Top Escrow. She's our affiliate spotlight today. She's going to talk about the fraud in escrows. And so, Ann, go ahead.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest threats in our industry, which is fraud in real estate. As real estate professionals, you're often the first point of contact for clients. Escrow is here as a safeguard, but fraud prevention really works best when we all work together. My goal today is to give you some practical tips you can use to protect yourself and your clients in your transactions. Escrow is a neutral third party. I'm pretty sure you guys all know what escrow is. Our role is to handle funds and documents securely, so neither side has to rely only on trust. But when escrow adds structure and safety, criminals are getting smarter. That's why agents play such a critical role. You're often the first line of defense. If we both stay alert, we can make it much harder for fraudsters to succeed. There are several ways fraud shows up in real estate. The biggest one is wire fraud. Typically, hackers send fake wiring instructions that can cost clients their life savings. Identity theft. Criminals pretend to be sellers or borrowers for refinances, often with vacant lots, rental properties, and free and clear properties. Forged documents, fake notaries or altered records. There's also check fraud, which is counterfeit cashier's checks used for deposits. And I think this happens to most people. That's why you have to pay attention to your emails, which is business email compromise. When emails look like they're from escrow or the lender or even you, but really it's not. These are all happening in our market. And I'm sure some of you have heard stories or maybe even had close calls yourself. So some of the red flags for agents that you guys can watch for are clients who suddenly get new wiring instructions. Okay, so it's very rare in an escrow where an escrow company sends wiring instructions and then sends a different one through a transaction. Escrow companies have an escrow trust account, and we typically never change that account number or routing number. It's very rare. So that's one of the big telltale signs. A buyer or a seller who seems rushed or doesn't want to meet in person. This is another good cue or red flag for agents. Someone pushing for unusual payment methods or quick closings. Emails with typos, odd grammar, or addresses that don't look quite right. But bottom line is use your intuition. If something feels off, trust your gut and slow the process down. So some of the best practices I like to give agents. So what can you do? The key is, I think the most important is educate your clients early in the process. Let them know about wire fraud before it becomes an issue. So I would suggest you guys let your clients know before getting to escrow, especially on the buyer side, about this wire fraud, and let them know. So then you have that open communication and tell them to always be in communication with you as well as escrow. And a lot of times in escrow, a lot of the part of the process is through email correspondence. So the key is to pick up the phone and call and talk to escrow directly. Always verify wire instructions by phone using a number you know is correct. So even though your buyer gets wiring instructions through email, even escrow companies, we all say to contact the buyer, contact escrow. We actually don't provide our account number on our wire instructions. We require them to call us. But the key is for them, before sending it out, I would suggest they contact escrow and re-verify that account number verbally. Use secure communication platforms whenever possible. Protect client data. Never put social security numbers or account numbers in plain emails. And most importantly, slow down if something feels suspicious. Don't rush things. Our role in fraud prevention for escrow, on our side in escrow, we're doing things like verifying identities, using secure bank channels. We always require dual controls. So at our escrow company, we never have one single person move funds. We always have our escrow officer, and not even someone in the escrow office. We have the second person in our accounting admin department that requires the wire to go out. So that's how we safeguard. And we follow strict compliance audits. We also carry insurance, but really the main goal, I feel, is prevention. We'd much rather stop fraud before it happens than try to recover money after the fact. This only works though if we're a team. Agents and escrow have to be in constant communication. That means warning clients together, sharing suspicious activity with each other right away, reinforcing the rule, call before you wire, encouraging in-person ID checks when possible. When we're aligned, it's much harder for criminals to slip through and, be able to defraud our clients. So if fraud happens, speed is everything. You should contact escrow immediately. Call the bank to try and recall the funds. File a report with the FBI's IC3 website within 24 hours. And of course, report it to your local law enforcement. The faster we act, the higher the chance of getting the money back. So some key takeaways to wrap things up. Fraud in real estate is real, and it is growing. Agents, again, are the first line of defense. You set the tone with your clients. Escrow, we are your partner in protecting transactions. Together, by staying alert and proactive, we can keep your deal safe and protect your clients' money. I'd be happy now to answer some questions. If not, I don't know if you guys have real world examples, but I can give you a few that I know that has happened. Does anyone have any questions?
And do you have a policy that forbids the wiring to outside the United States? For example,
International?
international, because in outside the U.S., it's very difficult to retrieve the fund once it's wire is gone.
Yes, correct. So we don't send money out internationally. We have it in our escrow instructions.
Good.
But of course, there sometimes could be exceptions, but we have real stringent rules. Like we do notary, that's like virtual. So we have a recording, they have to hold up their passport. It's typically someone that we know. It's not like a random escrow from an agent that we never did business with. There are some exceptions, but our guidelines are that we don't send international. But of course, there are some exceptions, but we do have some rules and policies in place for that.
Yeah, that's good. Good policy.
Yeah.
And nowadays, even the banks get defrauded, you know?
Yeah, they get discouraged too. The best way to tell your client is, hey, you're doing real estate in the United States. Get a bank account here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah.
All
Does
right.
anyone else have any questions about it? About any situations? I can kind of tell you. Oh, yeah?
I do.
Yeah.
If there's a, like, let's say there's two people that need to sign off on the grant deed and only one is in the state, are you generally okay with FedExing that grant deed to the second one? Free?
Yeah, and also, of course, you know, we just get the document signed. In the end, the title company is the last say so. So I would suggest if that's the situation, we ask the title company, if we can sign in counterpart, if they could sign on two separate, but if it's required on one document, yeah, we would send that already signed notary via FedEx. But, you know, it depends on what the title company approves and what they require.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
And I have a question, Carlos.
Yes. Hi, Carlos.
Hi. Foreign nationals, how hard is it, or do they have to have a TIN number when they get their check dispersed from escrow?
You're talking about a seller, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, a seller. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if they're a foreign national, it depends on how they do the IRS withholding. So, they typically have to get a TIN number because they want to retrieve that money back to the IRS. So depending on the escrow company, some of them will release all the amount to the IRS. So we would essentially sometimes close without the TIN number and we would get it later. Sometimes we'll use a CPA and we hold funds after we close. And then we get the TIN number after, and we'll release exactly what the IRS says. But yeah, they are required to get a TIN number sooner or later. But we will still disperse.
And for my information, what do they need to get a TIN number? The seller. What kind of information? Do they have to go to Social Security office?
Yeah, so we are just the escrow company that you're going to have to tell your client to consult a CPA. But from my understanding, that's what they work with the CPA to obtain that TIN number.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
TIN. TIN.
Yeah, TIN number. So I'll kind of tell you two situations that happened to keep you guys aware of like fraud, because you know you never think it's going to happen to you or your client. But right now, this is like the new way of banking fraud. So one time a seller was using one email with an escrow officer at a different company that I worked at. And all of a sudden, they had a different email address. So for you guys need to pay attention to that. Obviously, that's the other new email was not the seller. And what they ended up doing was telling the escrow officer that the payoff statement was incorrect, not the amount that they owed, but some contents in that payoff statement. And what they ended up doing was photoshopping that payoff statement and changing the bank information on that payoff statement. And so, again, when we talk about working with a team in real estate, this is why your team is so important, you know. Your escrow and title company, you know, and other parts involved in real estate. So when escrow sent that payoff to title ends up coming back to us telling us we're not going to accept this payoff statement, that it's fraudulent. So of course we're wondering why. Well, a title company has payoff departments that send money to these lenders, mortgages all the time. So they already had a preset account number for that lender, and they saw that it was different. So then at that point, they were able to verify that the payoff was fraudulent. So then I told the escrow officer, end up calling the client, and they said, no, we never changed our email address. So again, nowadays, a lot of communication is done by text and email. I always suggest clients and even like my escrow officers, you have to pick up the phone and talk to your people throughout the transaction, especially when there's some change, a new phone number, a new email address. So, and also making it comfortable for your client to ask the questions. You know, your clients, a lot of them do get intimidated because people don't buy and sell property 100 times in their lifetime, you know, once, twice, 3 times. So sometimes it's hard for them to communicate. So making it comfortable for your client, I feel is important. Another transaction was, it was a free and clear property, and it was in Arcadia. Somebody made a fake driver's license. They used a hard money lender. They went through the whole escrow, but you know, I wasn't handling it, one of my escrow officers, but I myself had a weird feeling. So I asked to see the copy of the driver's license, and I was able to notice that the driver's license was fake. And then what happened was I started asking more questions. Like I asked the notary, like, where did you sign the loan documents? They said they signed it at the investment property that was supposedly rented out. I asked what type of furniture was in the house. They said only a table and 2 chairs. So then I asked the lender, and mind you, this was a hard money lender. So hard money lenders are typically more collateral driven. So they didn't, I guess, do enough due diligence. I asked the loan officer, did you ever meet the client? They said no. So I was able to stop it. I went to the Arcadia Police Department and filed a report. And I went kind of a step further. I went on the MLS and found out who sold that client the house, because I really wanted to get to the client to let them know that there was identity theft done on him. And I was able to get in communication to let that owner of that property know. So again, it takes teamwork. Just, you know, be proactive, talk to your clients. Yeah, and in emails, there's so much phishing emails with agents and escrow officers and title. So always when you're looking at emails, don't look at who it's from. Go a step further and see the email address. That's when you'll know a lot of times that you're getting phishing emails. But besides that, you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. And if you have any questions, give me a call. I'll put my information in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Anne. Appreciate
Thank you.
valuable information. That will be very helpful for the agents. Thank you. All right. If no more questions for Anne, we'll proceed with the meetings. And I do have a few announcements to make before we go to the company's business listing and the sales. Because of the Labor Day, we will not have the lunch and learn this Wednesday. And also we won't have any training this Friday. We'll take a break for both events. And also because of the Labor Day on Monday, we won't have any business meeting either. As a matter of fact, the whole office will be, I will have a holiday. So enjoy your Labor Day. But we do have a get-together mixer in September, which is going to be happening on September 19th. This is on Friday from 3 to 5. And this time we will include some agents from the outside of our brokerage. And so if you are working with other agents in some of your deals, and you think that you would like to invite them to our company, you're welcome to. There will be a lot of food, free drinks, and free everything, and there will be pretty fun, just like last time. Okay, it will be September 19th. Put that on your calendar. All right. With that, I would like to call Michelle to give us an update on the listing and the sales. Michelle, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. So we'll go through the new escrows for 8/18 to 8/22 dates. So we have 9472 Wooddale Avenue in Arleta. Juan was a listing agent, sold by an outside broker at $730,000. 4297 Moonstone Drive in Los Angeles. Herman Salcido double-ended it, sold for $700,000. So those are two new escrows. So congratulations to Juan and Herman. Our new listings are 419 North Chandler Avenue, number 307 and 402 and 403. List condos listed at 708, 710, and 920. So congratulations to Nina on those. And we also have 406 North Lincoln Avenue in Monterey Park, 768. And that was listed by Nina and Tatiana. And a couple of commercial leases on Live Oak, number 102 and 108, $19.50 a month and $15.50 a month. Commercial leases listed by Shumay and Harrison Camp. Congratulations to all those with new listings. And we have our closed units, our 2316 Camino Monte and Fullerton, 1.274. Alice Chu was the listing agent, sold by an outside broker. 419 North Chandler, 523 Monterey Park. Nina and Tatiana listing, sold by an outside broker at 708. 223 North Lark Ellen in West Covina, $692,000, double-ended by Anna Lasarda. It was a residential. Land sold by Richard Wang. He is the selling agent at 17630 Paseo Road, Pacific Palisades, 849,999. 920 Granite Drive, number 316 in Pasadena. Amelia Schwab was the selling agent for a condo at 1.735. So congratulations to everybody on their accomplishments last week.
Thank you, Michelle. Very good. As I said, we have increased in selling activities in the company. A lot of things are happening in the company. So I encourage them to come to the office once in a while and mingle with us and talk with us, and this will have the synergistic effect on the sales. Okay, so don't be a stranger. Okay, don't be a secret agent either. Okay, any questions before we go on to my presentation? Any things we want to share? Your thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, you can always tell us. Oh, what happened to my mouse? Okay. Anybody have any questions? Well, if not, then I'll go into my screen share, and I'm going to talk about how to use the new addendum form ADM and the ADM gen, which is a general form of ADM. As you know that the forms in June we have perform changes, we have perform updates, and the CAR updated the ADM form to include the regular ADM and also the ADM gen. And that poses a lot of confusion among the agents as to what situation they use the ADM and what situation they use the ADM gen. You know, it's kind of very confusing. So I want to point that out today so that you'll have an idea of what the differences are, and you have an idea of what the other forms that you can use in conjunction with the ADM and ADM gen. Okay. And as you know that the CAR updated the ADM. It used to have just the ADM, which is the addendum, general addendum. But they find out that this addendum really does not pertain to be used along with the TDS or SPQ. So they just remove it, and then they add a specific recommendation for others or better suited forms to be used in different situations. So they introduced the ADM gen, which is a general form, and where they have a lot of blanks where you can fill it in and do it for specific situations, and so that you can use it in many more occasions than the general ADM that they used to have. So they thought that it was an improvement, but I think sometimes it can be very confusing because addendum is addendum, right? Why is it addendum and then you have an addendum gen, So, but that's a difference. So you have to understand what the difference between amendment and addendum. Now, as you probably can get from the prefixes, is add addendum, which means to add to the contract, and the amendment, which is amend, which is to change the contract. So addendum is for additional information or additional terms that you usually want to include in the original contracts. Either you don't have enough space in the original form to put it in, or you want to have a general addition of additional terms to modify the original agreement before the agreement is signed. So if it's after the agreement is signed, then it becomes an amendment, because amendment means changing the previous terms and conditions. So if, like, for example, if you have a purchase agreement where you didn't include the request for repair, then later on you want to include the request for repair, then you have an amendment, so that the request for repair would be amendment instead of addendum, because it's after the RPA is executed. So so the basic difference is addendum is to add and the amendment is to change. So just remember this difference. Between the amendment and the addendum, and which I gave you the example that the request for repair is more like an amendment than addendum. Now, what about the extension of time addendum? The ETA has a pre-printed language to extend the escrow or give time for the buyers to remove contingency. So since this is after the contract is signed, this is more like an amendment than an addendum. But this when you give the ETA, you should always include expiration date or time. Because if you don't, then you don't know when would the other parties respond to you. They may respond to you after a month, and they say, well, your offer is still valid, and you have to honor when I exercise my my approval or my my approval to the terms. So if you send out the addendum or amendment without the expiration date or time, you must give the termination or revocation of the addendum or amendment before the other party respond. In other words, if the other party respond, it's too late already, because you haven't given them a specific time to respond. But if you have a determined date and time, once the date and time pass, then the addendum or the amendment is not valid anymore. So they cannot come back and say that I want to do this now. That's too late. So so the general rule of thumb is the ADM is for buyer or seller or become the tenant or the housing provider transactions, while the ADM gen is for everything else. The reason is because the ADM specifically has the signature and the provision between the buyer and the seller, and also between the landlord and the tenant, and has no mention about the agents or any other third parties. So when you use the ADM, it's primarily for the buyer, seller, or tenant or landlord and tenant. But if you want to do amend or add, then you use the ADM gen for everything else. But before you use the ADM gen, you have to be specific. You have to specifically point out that what is this ADM gen is for. Okay, it has to be very specific. And if you don't have the specificity, then it is not valid. So make sure that you know what the ADM gen is for. Now, what is the form to use to disclose new information after the seller disclosure has already been provided? Now, sometimes you give the TDS or the SPQ long before escrow close or before the removal contingency, and later on you have any if you have an additional disclosure about the TDS or SPQ, you want to change it. Then you use the you think that you can use the ADM to modify it, but ADM is not the proper form to amend or add, because this is not, TDS or SPQ is not really an agreement. It is more like a disclosure. So instead of using the AEA, which is existing agreement terms, amendment to the existing agreement, you use the APD, which is the amendment to prior disclosure. This is the right form to use if you have to change the TDS or SPQ. Okay, remember that this is a specific form provided by the CAR, which is specifically for this purpose alone. Okay, so that's the proper form. Now, can you use the amendment to existing agreement to modify a previously signed listing or buyer broker agreement? Again, when you have a listing and a listing agreement or buyer brokers agreement, this is a form between specific parties, and the AEA is not really designed to modify this agreement, because AEA is parenthetically define the party as the buyer seller or the landlord tenants. And so using this form is not really appropriate. Now the CAR has a specific form for these purposes. The proper form is for the modification of terms for the listing agreement, which is MTLA, or the modification of terms for buyer representation agreement, which is MTBR. So these specific two forms are specifically for the change of agreement between the seller and the listing broker, or the buyer and the buyer's broker. So these two forms are specifically for these purposes. So don't mix the firms together. And sometimes I know it's very confusing. When I first look at it and I try to organize it, it was confusing to me too. But you just have to calm down, and then you just methodically kind of arrange it and do it. And this is the summary of the forms that I can offer you to clarify this. It has the summary of all the forms. What is the form used for, and what is the common situation that you use for, and what are the key limitations or distinctions between these forms. So before you use these forms, you just take it as a reference, and then you use it accordingly. Okay. So there's no big deal. It's just a friendly reminder of what you can do with the new ADM and new ADM gen. Okay. So I hope that it will be useful to you. With that, I would like to see if you have any questions so far. Anything else? Pretty quiet today, huh? Not even Carlos is not speaking. What happened, Carlos? No question. Everything clear? No questions, huh? Okay, if no questions, I would like to wish you a nice week, and I would like to wish you a happy Labor Day and enjoy your holiday, and hope to see you after that. Okay. All right, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Good weekend.
Yep.